Hey Flosstube, welcome back to my channel. It is Sunday the 15th of August today. August is flying by, and this is Flosstube number 78. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you like what I have to share with you today. It's all cross stitch, and that you'll think about subscribing and, you know, sticking around every week, checking out my progress on my cross stitch. It's every Sunday, so you know. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me this long. It is greatly appreciated. What kind of a week have I had? Well, quiet. Ellie's doing fantastic. She's been out on her bike every day this week. Out the back, we've got a bit, it's only a slight gradient out the back of our back gate, and I just kind of sit there and let them go up and down for 20 minutes, half an hour, and she's just, as the week's gone on, she's gone for a little bit longer, so her foot's doing well. She's actually walking okay on it now, so we're definitely moving in the right direction for her being over and done with the whole break thing. And then as for Riley, wow, stitching every single day this week. He sits there for ages, and that has really surprised me, because Riley's not got a very good attention span. He can stick at something maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. I know you're putting your face at me, but it's true. You don't sit, except the Xbox maybe. The Xbox he can sit for an hour or two, but anything else like crafting or something like that, or even like work, his focus just isn't there. So 20 minutes, half an hour for him, anything is really good. But every afternoon this week, it must be 1-2 hours he sat with me. Easy. So he's got quite a bit done on his cross stitch this week, which I'll share with you when I've done all mine, so I know where I am. So we're just going to get right into it. Last week I was having a bit of I lost the mood to stitch last week. I think I've made up for it this week. I think so anyway. So the first thing I'm going to show you is, well, hey, one of my BAPs, which is Supersized Once Upon a Fairy Tale. No, it is not the max colour version. It is the supersize. Artwork by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and I am still working away slowly on that castle in the corner. So I'll drop that down there. I've took it out of the case, so it's going to be easier to show you. I hate fighting with the case. I'm not actually sure how many stitches I've done, because I've done like a few stitches every week, but not enough to show you, so it's about 3 weeks worth, and it's still, I don't remember the last time I showed it to you, so I'll insert a picture here of what it looked like the last time you guys saw it. And this is where we are now, slowly but surely plugging away. It's a lot of greens, it's a lot of greys and browns, but slowly getting there. Don't worry, that's the other half. My back looks awful. This is on 25 count easy guide or easy grid fabric, 1/1, and the coverage is perfect. I'm not even going to try and fold that back up, because I got pegs, not even pegs, clips stuck on it everywhere, so it isn't going to work. Okay, so the second thing, I buried it. Good start. The second thing I have to show you is my Gamer Sal by Pick Stitch. I think I put the link in last week. If not, I'll put it in this week. And it just takes you to their page where they'll link you to the donation page. If it's still available, I'll put the link in. But I'm still on this G. And if you follow me the last few weeks, you'll know that I'm stitching it twice, just because I have 2 children that took a shine into it. So okay, we'll do these one by one. I'll insert a picture of the top one where it was the last time you guys saw it. I haven't done a great deal on this week. I need to serge the edges of my fabric. It's falling apart left, right and centre. And this is where we are now. That's the top one. I haven't done a great deal. There's not a great deal of difference on this one. This is stitched on 18 count 2/1. And then I think most of the week, well, not even the week, most of the times I pulled it out this week, I was actually catching the bottom one up with the top one, because I just kind of gone mad with the top one the one day and the bottom one was way behind. So I'll insert a picture here of where the bottom one was the last time you guys saw it. And here is the bottom one now. I think I've caught up. I think I'm done catching up. They're both in the same place. Yeah, I think so. I think I'm just missing some black stitches here. I don't actually know how I missed them. There's like a line right there, which is this line right there. I've done the hanging stitches here and I've done the hanging stitches here, but for some reason just never went across with the black. I don't know. So there's only that to do to catch up with the top one, but still having a whole load of fun with these. So easy, and the colours are great. So that's that one. And I can't count stitches just because it's all on paper. I've really missed Pattern Keeper, I tell you, because I've got a couple that I've been working on this week that aren't on Pattern Keeper. They are, I've got bits falling everywhere. They're paper charts, and it kind of takes me back to when I stitched Ellie's Heaven and Earth design, the very first one I ever tried of Heaven and Earth's, and it was all on paper. It was something like 24 pages, I believe. Pattern Keeper since then has been absolutely amazing. Anyway, the next one I'm going to show you is my mini The Amazing Animal Kingdom artwork by Amy Stewart again, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Now this is a mini, as you heard me say. I always forget it's on the frame. I will insert a picture here of where it was the last time you guys saw it. And I have thread hanging, so I will apologise. I'm not actually sure. How many did I do? Near enough 400 stitches. Not good, but it's better than none. And this is where I'm at now. Still plugging away at the 779, all in the shelves, here in the trees. I think I'm actually down here. I've actually reached down here at some point. Yeah, because I'm actually, my thread's pulling from there, so I'm actually working my way across this way now. This is also stitched on 25 count 1/1, and this one is using only CXC threads, which aren't doing too bad. I have noticed that they can get a little bit fluffy the longer you use them for. Other than that, it's all good. As long as I don't have to unpick, because when you unpick then you've got an even fluffier thread and it's worse. So although I don't mind the CXC, they work, the colours are great, it's just the fluffiness and just the labels, then they always fall off. But I think Linda mentioned that as well, but it's only when she said it I kind of clicked. Actually, yes, half the labels have fallen off of mine. So anyway, the next one, so I'm just figuring out where all my stuff is this one. This one is also for Kelly. She was diamond painting this one, but there was a problem with the diamonds. Although we went through and we ordered what we thought she needed, for some reason there was one missing. So when we'd ordered one, I think, but she needed something like 10. So we reordered and they were a completely different colour. So she said, you know what, I've had enough. Would you stitch it? So I said, yeah, of course. Mini All Cats Go to Heaven, artwork by Jim Warren. Heaven and Earth Designs again. And I am up here in all this blue. I think, actually, because I'm going in diagonals, I've just hit this darker blue patch right here. So this one is in my donut bag that I made a couple of weeks ago. Okay, I'll insert a picture here of where it was the last time you guys saw it. I know how many stitches I've done on this one. I've actually done 367, and this is where, ignore the bobbin, this is where we are now. I was working in diagonals, and then when I hit this square here, I went across. No, I'd finished this square, dropped down, finished that square, and then I went over here instead of carrying on up. I don't know. So I left that square where it was. So I am still parking at the moment. I've got about 7 threads on there, I think, at the moment. You wouldn't think there were 7 different blues in that patch right there, but there is. So I'm up here working on this one at the minute. This is also stitched on 25 count. Becomes a theme. But yeah, I'm still enjoying the diagonal and the parking my threads. But I haven't hit more than 7 threads at the moment, so we'll see how long we can keep it going for. That's that one. Then the next one I'm going to show you. This is one I haven't touched in a while. And I don't know why, to be honest. And it is my one and only Mirabilia, Athena, Goddess of Wisdom. And I started in the middle just because I'm working from paper. And I didn't want to have to, because I'm doing 2 over 2, I didn't want to have to think and count my way up to the corner. So what I've done is I've started in the middle there, and I'm working my way up this way. So I can kind of make it to the corner and then, yeah, work down. Because I like to work from corners. I like to start in corners, so this one's kind of thrown me a bit. I'll insert a picture of where it was the last time you guys saw it. It was a while ago, but I think I've got one. I might even have pinched it from my last video. Anyway, not my last video, the last one this was in. So anyway, this is where it is now. And I have done a whole heap. I know I had this done, and I had some of this greenery here done. And I know I've put in all this brown up there, and there, the bottom half of this brown, and then I've carried on going. Up here I have actually done quite a bit. This was only yesterday. I was just in the mood for my Mirabilia, I pulled it out and I bombed it out. Basically, this is stitched on 32 count raw Belfast linen, and again I have to serge the edges on this one because they're all falling apart. I just need to get my sewing machine out. If the outhouse was done and it was ready, my sewing machine would stay out, but it doesn't, so it annoys me to have to get it out. Anyway, that's that one. Then the next one, this was one of the kits I received. I can't even remember which one it was, so I'm just going to put it up there somewhere where I received this kit from. And it is a pre-printed one. It's a stamped kit, and it was this yellow rose. I actually got it out and started it, and I didn't wash the fabric first. I wanted to give it a go with the stamping because a couple of people had suggested that it was a good idea for, like, when you've had enough of having to count your stitches, like county cross stitch, and you just want to work aimlessly on something that you don't have to think about, you don't have to think about the stitches. So I said, you know what, okay, I'm not going to wash it, and I didn't. This is 14 count, and all I have done really is this grey colour. You can just see it all. I think it was the light green squares I was working on, and you know what, I had so much fun. I really did enjoy working on this, and I was watching telly at the time as well, I think, and it was just so nice, so much more relaxing than county cross stitch anyway. So I'd highly recommend a small stamped kit, and I know they don't do them on anything smaller than I think 14 or anything bigger. I never know which way that goes, smaller count or bigger count, I don't know. Anyway, so although it's not a great deal, I have started it, but I've been and my mood's been in this week for stitching, so the county cross stitches kind of haven't taken off. Anyway, the second one I'm going to show you, now I've got a bit of explaining to do with this one. Where's that? There it is. This was Ellie's. She chose this one, and when it arrived, this is from the same, is it from the same place? If not, I'll put where it came from here. It was stamped, and she decided she didn't want it stamped. She wanted to wash it off because she's used to county cross stitch. That's what she's been doing up till now. So we washed it off, And then as we're working away and she saw me working on my rose, she said, "Do you know what, I wish I hadn't washed it off now." So she saw my gnomes kit. It's still stamped because I had no intention on washing it after, you know, the decision I've made to work on a stamped cross stitch because it'd be easier. So we switched. I now have Stitch. She now has my gnomes. She didn't want to switch unless we agreed she could have it back when I'd finished it. So I said, "Do you know what? Okay, just when they're done, switch them back." So I've been working on her Stitch, and he's so cute. She was working on him, I believe, when we did our Stitch with me last week, not this week.
It was last week, yeah.
Not sure now. Anyway, so she's made a small start on my gnomes, and I got an itchy nose. Sorry, guys. But she decided she was going to. I will put in a picture of where she was last time you guys saw it. But last time you saw it, I believe that's all she'd done. But on the Stitch with me, she wanted to work on something other than the white. So she did her counting and worked out where she needed to be. Being as I've gridded the whole thing, she knew she could figure it out where she needed to be. So she did that. She finished, left off, and then I took over. And I've done just those 2 squares of 3865. It's amazing how fast you get through a strand. This is 14 count as well. And it's 2 over 1, obviously. So yeah, we've switched. I don't mind. Counted cross stitch is something I've always done anyway, so it's no biggie for me to have it washed off. Okay, so then that brings me to the gnomes cross stitch, which she started this week in the Stitch with me, I think. It's not the best picture, but I'll put up here where this one came from. And I haven't got a starting picture because she only started it on Wednesday, so the image isn't brilliant, but that's what it is. And surprisingly, all of the background is stitched in white, all that yellow. That whole background is stitched. So she started on the white first. Now, bearing in mind that you can still see the yellow through the white, so it's not the best. But obviously it's going to be washed off afterwards. So this is what she's done. You can actually see it better on the camera than you can in person because the yellow really shines through. But that's going to be washed. This is also 14 count. And she's enjoying it just because it's easier. She won't be washing anymore. So that's those. Then... that didn't sound good. I'll check it after. Then it brings me to the last one, which is Riley's. Now the picture on this one also isn't the best, but you don't need the image, do you? You kind of, as long as you've got the chart and everything else, it's okay. Anyway, I will put where this one came from as well. It is Baby Yoda. Riley fell in love with this the minute he saw it. Absolutely fell in love. And for the first week or so, he was working on all this black around here. I think he's actually completed only from about there down and all of the black going into there. And he started the green, which brings you into from his head to his ear. So I'll insert a picture of where he was last week when you guys saw it, and you'll be shocked, because I know I was, that he's actually sat down every afternoon. And this is where he's at now. This is on 11 count and it's 3 strands over 1. And he loves it. Absolutely loves it. He does make mistakes, but not very often. It's more so when he's put something on the telly and I said, you need to put something on that you can listen to, not watch, you won't get distracted. But in all fairness, he has actually done a really good job. A really, really good job. It looks awesome. See, this is where Yoda's ear comes in. So this is going down into his ear, and I think that's the side of his head on the top, Yoda. I need to see so I can see what you're seeing. Yeah, so it's sort of his head into his ear of the top Yoda. and he's done awesome, absolutely awesome. And I assume you're going to stitch on it this afternoon?
Yeah.
There you go. I'm going to sit down with my stitching, and he loves sitting with me actually. He's my new stitching buddy. Ellie's kind of waned off a little bit. She does here and there when she feels like it, but Riley has become my wingman really for stitching. And it's not often I have to pause mine to see to his. He's kind of helped him figure out how to undo a knot, because he's quite often, he doesn't hold on to the thread underneath while he pulls the top through. So more often than not, you get a little knot in the back. And I kind of showed him, the minute you feel that, stop. Don't even pull it, because if you pull it, the knot gets tighter. And then the last couple of days, he's kind of said, Mum, I've got a knot. I've paused, and then he's kind of lifted it up, and with his hands, he's unpicked it. So I don't even need to unpick his knots for him anymore. He knows that when it gets caught, don't pull it. And he's pretty good at undoing it himself. So the only issue we really have is when he needs to tie in his ends on the back. It's not that he's a tight stitcher, because he isn't really, because you'd see all the holes in the fabric. But it feels that way when you try and push the needle through. And they're not as fat a needle as I would normally use. The needles that come with it are actually quite fine. Yeah, so I don't know. So I have to give him a hand tying in his ends and restarting a new set of threads. But I can't complain. I've got so much stitching done, and so has he. So let's see what this next week brings. No doubt next week I will have tons more to show you, especially on Riley's. And maybe Ellie's. She's looking at me like, excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. So maybe Ellie's as well. I have got so much catching up to do. Ever since Hammy died, I've kind of forgotten about my Facebook groups. I've forgotten about Facebook altogether, to be honest with you. It's just kind of, ever since then, things have been really weird. And I forgot that I was taking part in Full Coverage Fanatics monthly bookshelf challenge, which I haven't completed since May. So I've got all of June's, all of July's, and now August's to do. So I'm playing catch up now, major catch up. So I had to make myself a little list. June's bookshelves and how many stitches I needed, July's bookshelf and how many stitches I needed, and then August's. So if I can keep an eye, and I have put a different project to every single one of them, so that I haven't got to wait to do the bookshelf for 1 month before I move on and start that same project for the next month. So I can just pull out different projects every day, and it will all take off the total 3 months worth. And I only realised, I think, the beginning of the week, Monday, maybe Tuesday. It might have been Tuesday. So I have got this week major catch up. We'll have to see how that goes. I've got to get Kelly's cracking on, especially the sorry guys, the Animal Kingdom. I'm so behind on that still. I'm not so worried about the 21,000 in 2021 because I've done it once. The second one was just a bonus, so I'm not too worried about that. But anyway, we'll see how this next week goes. My stitching bug is still certainly with me, so I'm going to crack on and get on with that. And I'm going to carry on with my Mirabilia this afternoon. So I hope you guys have had an amazing weekend and got lots of crafting done. I know not just I have, but we have this weekend and all last week. So have a great week as well, guys. Stay safe. Take care. And I shall see you in the next one. Bye, guys.